Summary of Ragged Dick, or Street Life in New York with the Bootblacks by Horatio Alger. Richard Ragged Dick Hunter, who has spent the night sleeping in a box made of straw, is woken up by a stranger. Dick can't believe it's already 7 o'clock in the morning. He feels bad about staying up so late at the theater the night before. The stranger asks Dick where he got the show money. Because he got the money the right way, by shining shoes with his trusty bootblacking box, Dick tells him it wasn't stolen. Dick quickly gets up and gets ready to start his day. His clothes are torn and dirty, and so is his face and hair. He can still find customers fast because of his frank, straightforward manner and good looks. Mr. Grayson is his first customer. When it's time to pay, though, Dick doesn't have any spare change. It's not likely that Dick will bring the money to Mr. Grayson's office later, even though he tells Dick that's what he wants. Soon, Dick has the money he needs for breakfast, which he eats at a nearby place that serves black people. Johnny Nolan, Dick's friend, walks into the diner just as he is finishing up this small meal. Since Johnny can't pay for food, Dick gets it for him. When he's done, Dick tells his friend that he could pay for his own food if he wasn't so lazy. The next person who comes in needs change too, but Dick doesn't have any. He has to go to a nearby store and ask for some. The clerk, on the other hand, says Dick's bill is fake and says she will call the cops. When Dick tells the clerk that he needs either the change or the bill back for his customer, the clerk is determined. After some time, it turns out that the worker kept the real bill and used his own fake instead. He gets fired, and a customer at Dick's thanks him for his hard work. On the same day, Dick runs into Mr. Whitney and Frank, his nephew. Frank and Mr. Whitney are trying to figure out what Frank should do with his time since Mr. Whitney has to work. After hearing what they were saying, Dick offers to show Frank around New York City. The two decide that Dick will be a good guide, even though they are worried about how he looks. But first, they give him one of Frank's old clothes that is still in good shape and let him wash up in Frank's hotel room. The bootblack looks very different after these changes. Now he only needs a hat to look like a good young gentleman. Dick shows Frank a part of town where they can buy a hat. When Dick gets a new one, he drops his old one on the street, where it is quickly picked up by another bootblack. After getting dressed right, Frank and Dick start their real tour. Frank learns on the tour that Dick's parents both died before he was 7 years old, leaving him to live on the streets. Frank also finds out that Dick hasn't been taught very well. He hasn't even read the Bible because he can't read very well. But Frank also finds out about the boys' street smarts, like how Dick can deal with the con artists that roam the city. When one of these con artists tries to scam the boys out of $20 with a bag full of fake money, Dick handles him with ease. All the way through their tour, Frank begs Dick to get an education, stop gaming, and save his money so he can live a better life, which Dick says he really wants. Eventually, the boys make their way to Wall Street, where they meet a young country bumpkin who had come to the city to bank $50, which was all he had saved up over the years. However, a con artist had stolen his money. He asks Frank and Dick to help him call the cops, but they are sure he won't get the money back. Since they don't know how else to help, they keep going on their tour and take a boat to Brooklyn. Soon, Dick finds the con artist and tells him he will call the cops if he doesn't give back the money. The man agrees right away, and the two boys give the money back to the roughneck. Frank then plans to go back to his uncle. Back at the hotel, Dick runs into Mr. Whitney again. This time, he compliments the shoeshine boy on how much better he looks. Whitney agrees with Frank that Dick should save his money, work hard, and try to get an education. Mr. Whitney gives Dick a $5 bill before he leaves. It's only when Dick is well off enough to quit the shoeshine business that he asks Dick to return the favor to a poor boy. The first thing Dick buys with his newfound wealth is a big meal at a good restaurant. He says it's the kind of place that would have turned him away in his old clothes. After that, he chooses to spend more money on a decent room. That night, he ends up at Mrs. Mooney's house, where she rents him a room. So he can start his workday fresh, he goes to bed early and in his own bed. When Dick puts on his new suit, he chooses to shine shoes from now on. This is great for his business. He quickly gets Mickey McGuire's attention, though. The prison-hardened black man McGuire doesn't like it when people in his class put on airs, so he tries to fight Dick. Dick easily holds him off, and McGuire runs away. The next day, Dick opens a savings account with the rest of Mr. Whitney's money and some of the money he made from his new job. He remembers that he forgot to give Mr. Grayson back his change in the middle of all this. Dick gets to the man's office very quickly. Grayson likes how honest Dick is, so he asks him to the Sunday school class he teaches, and Dick says yes. That night, Dick meets Fosdick at dinner. Fosdick is also poor and doesn't have money for dinner. The boy gets it from Dick, who then asks Fosdick to stay in his room because he knows Fosdick would otherwise be sleeping on the streets that night. When Dick finds out that Fosdick is pretty smart, he makes a deal with the boy. He will let Fosdick live with him if the boy will teach him. He agrees, and on the way home, they pick up a newspaper to help them learn how to read. Fosdick and Dick also start going to Mr. Grayson's Sunday school later on. The lessons go well, and Fosdick says that Dick has made a lot of progress. While Fosdick is very smart, Dick asks him why he doesn't try to get a better job than shining shoes. Fosdick says that his clothes and how he looks are mostly what's stopping him. Dick buys him a new suit to make things right. Fosdick changes because of his new clothes, just like Dick changed because of his new clothes. With a little help from Mr. Grayson and some hard work, Fosdick finally gets a job as a store worker. After a few months of nothing happening, Dick comes across Tom Wilkins, whose family is about to be kicked out of their home because they can't pay the rent. Dick wants to pay, but he doesn't have any cash on him. The next time he goes home to get his bank book, it's not there. Dick talks to Fosdick and Mrs. Mooney because he is scared that his money has been stolen. They both agree that the thief was probably another renter, Jim Travis. The next day, Dick goes to the bank to tell them what happened. Travis is later caught when he comes back to get the money, and Dick can give Wilkins the money he needs. Not long after what happened with Travis, Frank Whitney sends Dick a message. Frank has good memories of Dick and is interested in how he is doing these days. Dick feels moved by Frank's letter and says that Frank gave him the drive to learn to read, save money, and rent his own place. To answer, Dick decides to write a letter, which he does with Fosdick's help. As Dick rides the boat to Brooklyn one day, he sees a boy fall into the water. Without thinking, Dick runs after him and saves the child. Mr. Rockwell, the boy's father, gives Dick a lot of money as a reward. He gives him a new set of clothes and then a job at his counting house. Dick is excited to accept the man's offer of a $10 a week starting salary. He keeps his bootblacking box as a reminder of the good old days while he and Fosdick talk about moving into a better, middle-class apartment.
About the author. Alger was born into a strict Protestant family. While he was young, he did go to grammar and preparation schools, which helped him pass the tests to get into Harvard College. He graduated from Harvard in 1852 near the top of his class and was in the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, which is the highest award in college. Alger tried to make a living as a writer early on, but in the end he went back to Harvard's divinity school to become a priest like his father. Before he was fired for sexually abusing the children in his care, he was a preacher for 2 years. Alger never denied the charges against him. He ran away from the controversy and went to New York City, where he tried again to make a living as a writer. After some early mistakes, Alger quickly learned that writing to boys was the best way for him to make money. He started putting out Ragged Dick in parts in 1867, and the next year, he turned them into a full book. Ragged Dick was the first book that Alger wrote that became famous. He was somewhat successful in his lifetime. This was mostly because of the moralistic tone of his writing, which taught young people the importance of working hard, being thrifty, going to school, faith, and keeping things clean. As time went on, Alger's fans got tired of his formulaic, over-the-top plots, and he lost fame. Alger had mostly stopped writing by the time he died.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.